What's gonna be back? It's the Boxing King of more. Y'all know what it is. Your boy CJ Goodfella, and I'm just wondering if Deontay Wilder is the worst boxer some people ever seen. The worst guy, worst boxer ever hold a true world title. You got Bob Arum saying, "Oh, he's the shittiest fighter I've ever seen." You got this guy saying, "Oh, he's the most terrible fighter I've ever seen." Oh, he ain't that good. At the end of the day, I got two questions for people. Like pause the video and think about it after I ask these questions. If Deontay Wilder is so whack and so garbage, as you guys say, why haven't anybody whooped him? Please. Oh, he ain't fought him, but no. If he's the worst fighter ever, shitty title holder, shittiest fighter, sloppiest fighter, garbage fighter, why didn't Areola beat him? Why didn't Malik Scott beat him? Why didn't Bermane Stiverne beat him? I mean, the list goes on. Why didn't Arthur Spilker beat him? Why didn't Johan Dolan beat him? Why didn't Eric Molina beat him? Why ain't these guys beating this guy? Why isn't a guy like Seth Mitchell get the opportunity to beat him? Why didn't a guy like Jonathan Banks want to sign up and fight him? Ask you why. And then the other question is, if he's so terrible, why is Anthony Joshua buying time and fighting Joseph Parker first and waiting for Tyson Fury instead of fighting this guy? If this guy's so garbage, don't you want to take the easy trash out first and then worry about the heavy lifting later? But since, they say Joseph Parker is better, then why not go ahead and fight for Deontay Wilder? So you guys just add shit up like that. This guy came in at 214 pounds his last fight. He was almost weighed about 30 pounds versus Luis Ortiz. It might have been outweighed 30 pounds come fight night. Nobody talk about the disadvantage that he's consistently at every fight with the weight. He's consistently at a 30 pound disadvantage. He's knocking guys out. And not only is that, he's at a disadvantage when you talk about technique. When you talking about, background, like brother Nazim Richards said he should be at the Nationals right now. He ain't even 100% sure he will win the Nationals. What he's doing is phenomenal. Basically this guy's learning on the fly. He is. He's learning on the fly. And if he's the worst boxer most people say they ever seen, why hasn't anybody whooped him yet? If you the worst boxer you ever seen, why are you vulnerable? I mean, people talk about, Ortiz could have knocked him out. But did he hit the ground, or did Anthony Joshua hit the ground versus a 41-year-old Klitschko? You got to look at things like that. This dude had to come in at a career high, almost 260 pounds, just not to get knocked out by Vladimir Klitschko. He needed the extra weight. He put the extra weight on because he was fearful what Klitschko power brought to the table. And it took him 11 rounds to knock out Klitschko. Look at that. This is a 41-year-old guy who's been knocked out several times in his career, coming off a 16-month layoff to losing to Tyson Fury, even though he cheated. I understand all the ramifications and the circumstances they was in. But he didn't do anything spectacular by stopping Vladimir Klitschko. It had been done over and over again. He was 41 coming off a loss. Had Luis Ortiz ever been knocked out before? No. Did Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua respectfully duck Luis Ortiz? That's factual. The WBA ordered Klitschko and Ortiz for the WBA title. They asked Ortiz and paid him off so Joshua and Klitschko can fight. Then when it came time for him to get his fight and his title shot, Anthony Joshua put his tail between his legs and ran off on the plug twice. This is not shit that I'm making up. This is all facts. All facts. So, if this guy's so terrible, why wasn't the most skilled guy in the division, Luis Ortiz, able to beat this guy? Huh? Then when all y'all guys out here saying Ortiz was going to smash this guy, y'all was King Kong fans. But when he knocked him out, Wilder, no, don't jump on the Wilder bandwagon. If this guy's the worst boxer you ever seen, why haven't he been whooped? Please. There's some heavyweights out there that can walk and chew bubblegum. And the fact that, Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua mutually chose to choose each other, that just tells me they didn't want no smoke with Wilder. This is a guy that they probably outweigh 20, 30, 40 pounds respectively in separate fights. Parker and Joshua, they outweigh this guy. This guy has no technique, right? This guy's this. He's sloppy. He's this. But do you see them going out their way to try to make that fight? Joseph Parker could have made the Deontay Wilder fight a long time ago. He can't have won the Wilder fights. He seen it firsthand what happened to his opponent. I forgot which opponent it was. You feel me? Anthony Joshua, he don't want no smoke with Deontay Wilder neither. And people got misunderstood about the Wilder videos I did about him begging for Anthony Joshua. He looked like he a beggar and a chooser. Don't go beg that motherfucker for nothing. You do what you do on this side of the pond. He's already made his crusade and made his rah-rah speech about wanting to fight Anthony Joshua. It's in their ballpark. It's no more pressure that Deontay Wilder could put on this man. He's applied ultimate pressure on Anthony Joshua, okay? He has. That's factual. He applied the most pressure that you can apply on a fighter. But guess what? Nobody cares. Anthony Joshua is well connected, you know. It's like a snitch being a informant for the feds. He's well protected. You know, he's very, very well protected. So no matter what you say, it's going to bounce off him and it's going to splat in your face. So if you already know your circumstance, you can't touch this guy. Stop trying to force a fight with this guy. Just do you. You know, in God's will, you speak it, you believe it will happen. It'll happen, Deontay. But there's no need to chase this guy down. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, and if it comes the time the fight don't happen, you ready to retire, retire. Hagler went through the same thing with Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, Leonard wait till he got into a war with John the Beast Mugabe, and then all of a sudden he seen Hagler slowing down. He picked his spot to jump in and then dump in a double Dutch jump rope and fight Hagler. You know, so just know when that time comes and you at your most comfortable where you at in your career, Anthony Joshua's gonna be ready to fight you. You know, watch. When you vulnerable, you might slow, you might have a bad performance, whatever. He'll be there. But like Hagler, he waited, he was patient, and the Ray Leonard fight happened for him. And most people thought he won that fight, he got robbed. Just make sure you don't leave it in the judge's hands when you get Anthony Joshua in your paws. And you finish that man. You know, whenever opportunity you got, you put him on his back, you put him out of his misery. Because at the end of the day, I want to see the worst heavyweight in history, in boxing history, worst title holder, worst world champion boxer. You know, when he knocks out Anthony Joshua, I want to know what they're going to say. You know, because with that win over Anthony Joshua, win over Luis Ortiz, in my opinion, that's two way better wins than Vladimir Klitschko ever had in his career. So I want him to get that same respect. Y'all can even put on his tombstone, the world's most sloppiest, shittiest fighter of all time, but he was the best of his era in the heavyweight division. And y'all have to put some respect on this nigga name one day. Today, tomorrow, day after. We